take away the economy from those who rigged it. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It's worth it. How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Berto Willis.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the entire United States. Good morning to the world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, created by whom? We the people, you the people. We are the ones who did it all. Of course, now controlled by the billionaires. But guess what, folks? We are doing what is necessary to do what again? Take it all back, because it is ours. Whether it's AI, whether it's all the technologies created that the billionaires are now making a premium off of our intellect, we have to learn, we have to get the knowledge and realize why we aren't asking for things, we aren't begging for things, we have earned things. Anyway, folks, without further ado, we go to the geniuses in El Estudio, which is El Señor Howard Reynolds and Jack Van Beba.
I always think that Jack should get top billing around here because he is the most important person on the staff this morning. It is Friday morning at the radio, the 25th of April, 2025, just a little after 6 o'clock in the morning, and we are all here with our coffee and ready to hear Jack's wisdom this morning.
Well, there's no wisdom this morning. I just can't talk intelligently about Trump's cryptocurrency company inviting its top holders to exclusive dinners with Don.
Oh, it's another ripoff.
And 25 will get the VIP tour of the White House.
25 what? 25 million?
No. Well, that's probably what it ends up being. He's gonna soak them for money.
Oh, sure he is. You grifter. Selling Teslas on the lawn, selling his cryptocurrency, his sneakers, his Bibles. Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine if that was ever done by Biden, Obama, or Clinton?
I can't even imagine that even if Bush did it. Or
Bush
or
would,
Reagan,
no, exactly.
Or Nixon. I mean, oh, hey, exclusive, a Nixon tape. Here you go. Right from the White House.
18 minutes long.
The missing White House tapes have been found and they're on sale now at your local White House.
You're aging yourselves. You're aging yourselves.
Yeah,
you know, our 25-year-olds are saying, tapes? Nixon? What are you talking about?
I know. Well, if we have anybody that's 25 listening.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I know the tag is listening. He's on the line already. He wants to talk to you. He must have something burning to talk about. So.
Well, you know what? You know who has always first priority on this show, my man? That is those guys who call in, man. Those ladies and those men who call in, but and also those who chat in. So I want to give a big welcome on the chat started today. The first person in the chat today is Lisa Blair. Lisa, where are you from? Good morning, Lisa Blair. We also have on Substack, Sheila Korn says, good morning from Georgia. Buenos dias, Sheila Korn. We also have Cindy Hammett. We also have John King from My Humble Opinion. He says, Laura King, Linda Irvin, Elsa Ledal, Sabrina, Rebecca Moore, and many others that I missed because I started the app late. Lisa Blair says, oh my God, Republicans would have lost their minds if Biden or Obama were grifting this hard. We're going to start it. You know, Jack said he didn't have any words of wisdom. Well, I think you did with the way you started with just saying, I don't know enough about cryptocurrency. Guess what, Jack? Jack, guess what? Guess what, Jack? Nobody.
What?
Nobody knows about cryptocurrency. You know why? It's not a real thing. So your wisdom actually was wisdom, sir.
Well,
Maybe I planned it that way.
we should ask Donald. What about cryptocurrency? Nobody knows it. Nobody knows more about cryptocurrency than I do, and nobody knows about being a president more than I do, and nobody knows about poping more than I do. So I'm going to apply for the new pope job, and I can be the pope and the president at the same time. And if it doesn't work out, then I can go ahead and be the pope, and I can ruin the Catholic Church like I'm ruining with the White House now. But nobody knows about ruining things more than I do.
That's what they should say. I love that one. I love that one. Hey, welcome aboard, Jay Ray. El Senor Ray is in from Houston, Texas. I told Ray on the 3 o'clock show, hey, we're going to do a little co-hosting one of these mornings on KPFT. Ray always have a lot to add to the program. And you know what? Every so often I'm going to say, hey, come on and co-host with me, guy. And we also have Lisa Blair saying she's from Atlanta. And John King, John, when I saw in the chat that you said my humble opinion, all I saw first was humble, right? And I said, oh, John King is from Humble, Texas. But I guess not. Anyway, Tag, we've left you holding long enough. So let's go ahead and have our brother from Michigan. I think it's Michigan, right, Tag? Tag, come on in.
That is correct.
How you doing, my brother?
Great, thank you. Hello to everybody there. I found a fascinating article yesterday about a process in a mineral that China has developed where they can get 67% efficiency from solar. Isn't that phenomenal?
That is not phenomenal. That is like big, yeah.
That's huge. And not only that, but they can make a fabric out of it. They can put it in a resin and paint it on buildings or roads or cars. I mean, I was just floored when I saw this. So anyway, like I do, I went ahead and posted on my Facebook page. So it was there for later. And one of my MAGA friends called, "Oh, China, how did COVID work out for you?"
It is so silly, right? Here's the thing, brother. Here's the thing. As soon as you said 67% efficiency, again, you and I don't have 100% proof of that yet. But making a claim like that, we'll find out soon. But the average efficiency, I looked it up as you were speaking. The average efficiency of solar panels is 23%. That would be like, imagine all the solar farms right now. That is like saying tripling the energy coming from solar farms right now. That's amazing. Continue, brother.
So, yeah, so here's where we're going to circle right back around to what Howard was saying. Howard, you're going to love this. Okay. So my MAGA buddy on Facebook asked me about how COVID worked out from China, and I started thinking about it. We had the Wuhan Echo Lab there researching COVID and zoological viruses. And we got Mr. Trump in office, and he decided he was just going to cut that program and pull all our people out of that. 3 months later, we had a pandemic that likely come out of that lab. And in my mind, that pandemic happened because we didn't have the people maintaining that lab to take care of business. So, when I say that Trump was responsible for the COVID pandemic, in my mind, it's because there was nobody at the lab that we established in Wuhan initially, and then he cut and run. And now he's doing everything, the same thing here in this country. He's cutting everything in this country. If it's any indication of what's going to happen, everything that he cuts in this country, if it goes haywire like COVID did, we're going to have a heck of a problem.
Let me stop you there, Tag, because I think Americans need to hear the importance of what you just said there. But beforehand, I want to welcome Jacqueline Campisi from Katy, says good morning, and John King is from from Canada. Thank you for being here, John King. We love, well, those of us who understand healthcare, love your healthcare. We know you could have a few improvements in paying for drugs and a few other parts of your Canadian healthcare, but my God, it's orders of magnitudes better than what we got here down south in the United States. Tag, here's what I want to say about what you just said. You spoke about, do you remember that huge Ebola epidemic we had here in the United States and around the world when Obama was in power? Oh, no! There was no Ebola epidemic. And that's because as it was about to explode, what Obama's administration did is they went and they neutered it. And the same thing happened under the Bush administration. I don't remember which one of the viruses it was that they arrested. They went. America was in fact, yes, the leader of the world. We did things like that. As a hot spot breaks out in the rest of the world, we throw everything at it because we understand people are flying to the United States, people are flying to Brazil and coming to the United States. All these things, we understood that forward thinking was necessary to prevent pandemics. And everything you just said, Tag, is something that's flying under the radar, and the mainstream media should be charged with dereliction of duty. When he cut the program, all these research programs with the NIH that deals with measles and these other diseases, opens the door for exactly what happened with the pandemic, as you just stated, Brother Tag. And the problem is, good leaders foresee the future and mitigate what could happen in the future. Bad leaders just say, hey, I could save $1 billion here. I could save $500,000 there. Hey, I could save $500 billion. And guess what? That means I can give those people a bigger tax cut. And for that tax cut, we put everybody at risk, Brother Tag. And not only do we put everybody at risk, but when the pandemic or the disease flares up, those same people that get the tax cuts make a windfall in healing, in burying, in cremating, in doing all these things. That is a result of their failure. Continue, Tag, so I can move on.
So all I can say is thanks to all the MAGA people for helping us get Trump. And thanks to you, Egberto, for letting me hijack your show for a couple minutes.
Look, everybody that has good data to share, it's their show. Thank you. You have a wonderful day, Tag. And stay warm in Michigan. I think you guys are starting to warm up. All right.
Yeah,
before I go to Bruce, thank you, brother. You have a good one. Enjoy. Before I go to Bruce, I want to say this, folks. For those of you who say every day you're just beating up on Trump, give the man a chance. I know a lot of you say that. A lot of my MAGA brothers and sisters say that. I would love to. I would love to come on this program and talk about a lot of stuff in engineering that doesn't make the mainstream media that a lot of people want to know. When Tag spoke about the efficiency rate of panels, of solar panels, that turns people on when they realize, hey, if we can build a 67% efficient solar panel, we could put it on our homes and we won't have to be on the grid most of the summer. A lot of that people would love to know if explained in terms that most people understand. But we can't get there because Donald Trump is killing green energy. So you ask us not to talk about Donald Trump because we have a hate for him. It's not a hate for Donald Trump. It's not wanting to our country destroyed from the policies that he puts out. That's what it is. Let's go to Brother Bruce. Bruce, you're on.
Good morning. I had a dream last night that I called the program, and you asked me, what do you want? And I forgot and didn't know what to say. But anyway, Tag is right. Bird flu's coming. But yeah, the reason I called is regarding eugenics. Okay, just like the Nazis, Trump is trying to practice eugenics. You force the minorities out. You push the immigrants out. You make the cost of living high. You make health care not accessible except to the wealthy. You get school vouchers to help like Abbott, de-incentivize having babies for the poor and minorities. And then he's coming out and he's saying we need to procreate. What he's saying is I want these rich white girls to go out and screw like rabbits. He's trying to increase his base, his Republican base, his white base, or rich base, if you rather say that. And eugenics just turns my stomach. I mean, we saw it in history, and this guy's doing it again. But anyway, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. My daughter but she wrote a Substack yesterday on this $5,000 thing, and she was pointing out that you want to give people $5,000 to have a baby, but that entire baby doesn't just cost $5,000. It's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then there's a couple of sentences she wrote that mimics what you just said. And the sentence that she wrote was like, in fact, coded in the words that they've been using was pretty much babies of a certain type, And I said, Ash, I didn't see that. I didn't read it completely. She said, Dad, I didn't read it specifically, but every piece that I've been seeing so far was actually said we want able-bodied only able-bodied babies, get the stipend, I believe, and also with just what you said, throwing the immigrants out and making it more difficult for people of color and others to have babies is the order of the day. And then after I read her paper, I'm listening to a program on MSNBC. There was a postulation, and the woman said, I don't remember the host that said it. She said, I wonder what happens if when they start giving these $5,000, mostly women of color accept it, and whether they will keep the program going. So I think you hit on something there, Bruce, that would be interesting to look at.
You just made a great point. And we'll see what happens. But to me, it's pretty blatant what he's trying to say. His whole administration seems to, they pushing qualified people out of cabinet posts, replacing them with lackeys that aren't DEI. It's just so blatant. Anyway, I'm going to get off and give you time to other callers. But
thank you, my brother.
I'm glad I didn't forget to say anything.
Well, I think that is that thing that all of us have, that little fear that when it's our time to do something that we forget to do it. I've learned as I got older that I just confess it up front. If I'm speaking to somebody and I lose my train of thought, I'm like, oh God, I lost my train of thought, man. So it no longer is embarrassment. It's just a clarification. Thank you, my brother. You have a good day, okay?
Berto, one more thing.
Yes.
I tried to get in yesterday, and the phone system, I guess, was messed up. I couldn't get in. I thought, well, maybe they got smart and they blocked me. They don't want any more cornball calls.
No, we love your calls, Bruce. You have a great day, my brother. I have great listeners. Lisa Blair says the host was Alicia Menendez. You're right about that. Exactly. And Glenn Rand said, oh, please. Obama was lucky with Ebola as it was nowhere near as transmittable as COVID. You know that, Egberto. Let's keep it real. My idea wasn't to worry about how transmissible it is. It may not be as transmissible of COVID. It's a lot more deadly than COVID or immediately deadly as COVID, Glenn. And my point was mechanics, okay? And whether Obama got lucky, whether Bush got lucky, I am not going to say that. These guys actually proactively worked at the issue. Donald Trump did not proactively work at the issue. You don't have to like Obama. You don't have to like Bush. You don't have to like any of these presidents to acknowledge when they've done something good. Donald Trump created this program that sped up the development of the marketing, I should say, of the COVID vaccine. Even though I know he didn't do it from the heart, we gave him credit for that as well. All right, let's go to Lester. Come on in, Lester.
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm all right, and I know you're all right, so I'm not going to ask you how you're doing for the 99th time.
Well, I'm glad you're all right, my brother. Talk to me.
no. Number one, because I want to be brief. Number one, I think you a good guy. You allow people to get personal with you, take shots at you, but you man enough not to hang up in their face like a whole lot of these other talk show hosts on other stations. Also, thank you for being a nice guy. Second of all, man, people like myself, I'm not a big Trump supporter. But you know me, I believe in prayer. I pray for the guy. But here's my thing. People who seem to want to overlook all the Donald Trump discretions, telling people to drink bleach and all that stuff. Thousands of people have died because of COVID because he didn't have a plan. This man has been convicted. We know the history of Donald Trump and everything. He's really a criminal. But my thing is, people that want to seem to give him a chance, cut him some slack. If it was Barack Obama, would they feel the same way? I'll hang up and listen and thank you.
No, I don't want you to hang up. Lester, don't hang up. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. I want to ask you something, Lester. I want to ask you something. Honestly, I think you said you were a black guy. Is that correct?
I'm a soul brother.
You're a soul brother. All right, let me ask you this. Honestly, let me ask you this. Do you think if Barack Obama did everything Trump did, things with many baby mamas and all of that, don't you think they would make a stereotype out of him and his electability would have been impossible?
Yeah. I agree with that. But, man, come on, let's keep it real. It's a different set of rules for black folks and white folks. Well, go ahead. I'm listening.
So let me ask you this then, and wouldn't you like all of us to have to play? I mean, even DEI. DEI goes against what you just said. Those people who are like, DEI is helping those other folks. Not really true, but wouldn't you like to have an America where, as Martin Luther King said, it's, you don't have to worry about your pigmentation. You don't have to worry about your gender and all of that. Isn't that the America you would like to live in?
Of course, yeah. Of
okay.
course.
All right. So what I'm saying, for all the differences that we have, or those who want to defend Trump or not, I think there are most people in this darn country, believe it or not, MAGA and otherwise, who want all of that. But there are forces out there that have us at each other's throats to prevent that from happening. That's the kind of stuff that I preach here, brother. But anyhow, John King said they would have lynched Obama. But anyhow, that's what I'm talking about. So look, Lester, thank you for calling in, and your voice matters here as well. All right. Let's go to Ray, brother Ray. How you doing?
Good morning, brother Egberto.
Talk to me, my brother.
I have actually, I've answered your challenge, and I guess I'll be seeing you soon. I do have an ask, though. So, I use more colorful language, and
you can't
all the time. But I do have an ask that maybe we can do like a recorded segment in an interview first.
Oh, we can do that. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
Yeah,
we could do. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I looked and I told the folks at 3:00 I want you on, because you are one of our younger voices, and you are also out there doing a whole lot of activist work, and you are around a lot of people, and you see what people are like. And I think in all these shows, I mean, look, in shows like this, right? Because a lot of the older folks have a chance to have more spare time and all of that. A lot of these shows are dominated by older people. When I find young folk like yourself or Melissa and others, I want to hear those voices come up, because a lot of times our millennials and our Gen Xers and our Gen Zs, not Gen Xers, but millennials and Gen Zs, they're almost a silent generation when it comes to communication between that group set and the older group set. That's all.
Yeah, but one thing we definitely don't subscribe to is respectability politics, and I know you know about that as well. And of course, with respect to all of the listeners in the show, I would definitely not take over. I would love to have this platform, maybe to highlight some of the work I've been doing out in the community.
That's
with
what I
their
want to hear.
initiatives
Yes.
as well, but I also, want to represent myself and maybe use this opportunity to launch my own platform and get my voice out there where I have maybe been, stagnant and procrastinating. You may boost me into that confidence level that I need.
Well,
And I
here's the
that
thing.
invite.
Here's the thing, Ray, and I mean this from the depths of my heart. I wish more folk would not just do, let's say, that TikTok thing and they put videos out and call it a day, but develop an infrastructure of knowledge, because it seems like the people that have knowledge and the people that are doing a whole lot of good stuff, we don't hear from them except in very niche markets. But the folks who are just polluting our social being with hate, etc., they get big platforms. All of us should be working against that. All of us that have a voice. In fact, I would tell all the callers that call in here, hey, let's get together and create cooperating networks just so that truth could prevail. Anyway, anything else, real Ray, so I can move on to Patrick.
Yeah, to your point of what you said, Trump did release Operation Warp Speed and
Warp Speed,
did
that's the
release
name, yes.
stimulus check. So to that, I say a broken clock is right twice a day, and Andrew Schultz is repugnant for saying what he said about what it takes for him to be a Democrat. If you have any inclination on that, I'd suggest you to look it up. It's very sub-sophomoric in middle school, and we need to do better as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother Ray. All right, let's go to Patrick. Come on in, brother Patrick. Let's see. There we go. Patrick's on.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing fine. I wanted to help out since you're getting heat about picking on Trump too much. So let's talk about Governor Abbott. He's bought out by two evangelical
Billionaires
who want to force their brand of morality on all of us. They recently pushed a bill through the Senate that will not allow, I guess it's counties or districts to vote on whether or not to legalize
IBF.
cannabis.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though cannabis is in the Bible and it's a big part of most people's religion, they feel like they know better than anybody else. And then they're also trying to push these vouchers. They're the ones behind the vouchers because they think that everybody will be going to their brand of Christian evangelical schools, and they're also sympathetic to the rest of the rich. And currently, Abbott is threatening all of our representatives that if they don't pass this voucher program, that he's going to stop their legislation or he's going to get them out. The people have said they don't want these vouchers. They contacted their representatives. Their representatives don't want it because they can see that it's bad for the rural communities. So there's two people that want all this stuff to go through that have bought out the Texas legislation and Governor Abbott. And let's just look at one example of what could happen with these vouchers. It's $8,000 a year. We've got another billionaire that's a resident here, even though he's from South Africa. He happens to have 14 children. They refuse to put a cap on who they will reimburse.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to educate 14 of Elon's quote unquote legitimate children would cost the taxpayers $1.2 million. Does this sound like a good program?
No, it's terrible. It is horrendous. Vouchers don't work. Even when you talk about scale, the whole works. Voucher is just another transfer of wealth in two different ways. One, the rich person who wants wants you to pay for their private education for their kids, but also it takes money out of the public school system. So all around, it's a bad thing. And most representatives understand that it's a bad thing. But again, democracy doesn't matter for these folks. Look at what Abbott is trying to do. Hold education hostage, hold all other bills hostage if they don't do what he wants to do, something that most Texans do not want. It's a shame. And it just proves that when they talk about democracy, they're full of it.
Yeah, that's anti-democracy.
Yeah.
I just figured I'd help your listeners kind of think about that. And does that sound like somebody that's representing us or representing 2 or 3 billionaires?
Yeah, you know, there's so much that we need to talk about that's going wrong. You know, it is like all these new policies coming in from the right side of the aisle. Think so little about the rest of us. But anyhow, thank you very much for that, Patrick. Let me go to Johnny. So you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you at 3:00. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother. John A says vouchers sabotage public education. He's on Substack. Vouchers sabotage public education. It's a money grab from the taxpayer. Welcome aboard. Oh, a whole lot of new people just came on Substack. But ADJ said, rich people get the government to pay for their private schools. Ridiculous. Abbott is bought by Christian nationalists and they are not Christians. And Lisa Blair says, just a reminder, Governor Abbott, this is from the chat, Governor Abbott is a DEI hire because of his disability. And welcome aboard Joanne from Los Angeles, California, and the whole big crew that just came in from Substack. All right, let's go to Johnny. How you doing, my brother, Johnny?
I don't know if Patrick did this on purpose or if it was accidental mispronunciation, but I like it either way.
When he said rabbit?
Governor Rabbit. Do an Elvis song.
I heard that too.
Governor Rabbit and Agent Orange. Ooh, what a crew. Listen, I've got some advice for our friend, our fellow time traveler. I've forgotten his name already. The one who's wanting to have his own platform. Do you remember his name?
Ray,
that's right. Ray, I hope you're listening. Listen, buddy. Everybody is where they should be. Egberto is fine at what he does. He's an activist, and he's a good communicator. He's doing what he needs to do. He's doing God's work. Your role, as I see it right now, is not trying to do what Egberto does. I got the feeling that you are best right now in this part of your life joining up with forces like Neil Aquino. Work under him. Be that street activist the best you can be. And then seek to write a book maybe later on in your life. Right now, you are where you need to be. We all are where we need to be. I wish I was not on my way out. I would like to be able to join you on the streets and maybe help guide you. You sound older. You don't sound younger than me. But I'll take it as, I take it as it is. Some people sound older. Some people sound younger. It doesn't matter. What really matters is you are where you need to be. Work on that. Don't try to put yourself ahead of where you need to be.
Johnny, let me just say that I am the person that was Brother Ray is as the person. I met him in person. And I was pushing him in saying something. I love what I do, and I'll do it as long as there are people listening. But also, I think there are a lot of folks out there that need to be doing a lot of this, not only on air but on other networks. And I think, and you know this well, Johnny. One of the reasons we are not getting our message out as we should is because of the dominance of the right, the way they do things through all communication avenues, while we are limited. We like our, I don't want to say stars, but let me just say this about the progressive movement a lot of ways. And this is a critique that I think needs to be had. I do this. I work at Netroots and all these other places where I do a lot of media, etc. But it has been very, very hard for me to get penetration in a lot of these different avenues because it's a good old boy network, even in the progressive space. And it's a good, let me finish this one real quick, Johnny. And what happens is, as one person come out and start doing things, I can tell you some stories that I won't say on air. but it is almost a crab type mentality. People pulling folks down, not allow others to go out. I take a different stance, right? I would love to see a lot of people doing what I am doing. And if personally, I mean, and this is a personal thing, if I see somebody that I see that spark that they want to do something, I'm the type that is saying, I'm the type of person that is saying, oh my God, great. Another person going out there and doing a good thing for the movement. And in knowing this person personally, I can say, well, just like with Brother Aquino is doing a hell of a lot. And one of the reasons we started this Thursday thing were two reasons. One, I saw what he was doing. And two, when you guys talk to him, he's like, oh, yeah, we like this guy. So there you go. Same thing with others that are out there. I can tell you 5 people that call into this show right now that have what I call the, look, Johnny, you know your material very well. You do your research. You do all these things. You do that. But I don't know that you want to get up every morning at 6 o'clock and do all the research at 8 and 9 in the morning to do what you want to do. But you like you just said, you come in here and you add value by the things that you find, the things you tell us. But there are some who are willing and ready to do that other step as well. And I find that I find like 2, 3, 4, 5 callers into this program. That's exactly who they are. So that's just my 2 cents, brother. Continue, and before I go to Augie.
Okay, and I will push back a little bit. I will insist that I think Brother Ray's trajectory is he needs to do more street work. You say you know him personally on a more personal level. I'm not getting the same vibe when I hear him speak with you that you're getting when you talk to him in person.
Right.
All I'm saying is we have a drastic need in this country, considering how serious things are degrading in front of our eyes. We need more young people and older people who are ready, willing, and able, who are financially able to. I am not able to for that, to get into the streets and inspire their neighbors and friends and help sponsor those who don't have the means to. That's where I see his role. Your role is to what you're doing right now. God has placed you there. If you want to use the God.
Oh my God, Johnny just used the word God. Hey, Johnny, I appreciate your confidence. I appreciate your good words. Hey, Johnny, I got to go to Augie. I got to go to Augie, Johnny. Thank you, my brother. Sometimes Johnny don't listen to me, you know. Let's go to Brother Augie. Come on in, Augie.
Good morning. Yeah, I was just thinking this weekend Trump is going to go to Rome for the funeral of the Pope. When in 2016 the Pope was asked about Trump, and the Pope said, well, Trump's not a Christian. And he's shown that in his first administration when he couldn't even read a Bible out loud. He couldn't even hold the Bible correctly. And when he was taking his oath for this current administration, he didn't even put his hand on the Bible. But he's going to go to the funeral. I guess he's going over there to see what a big crowd really looks like instead of the crowds that he gets.
Boy, he's going to see a crowd, all right.
Yeah, and Brian and Bart keep calling us communists when it looks like the communists saved Trump. And Trump admires the communists. He likes how when they come in to have the meetings, everybody stands up and claps for him. And that's what Trump wants everybody to do, just like the communists do. And he's doing everything that Hitler did, too. I guess he read the Mein Kampf book.
Hitler, yeah. Well, he did read it, Augie. He did read it.
Yeah, he didn't go after the Jews first. He went after everybody that spoke against them, even the religious leaders, the Catholic priests and the Protestant preachers. He put them in concentration camps. And they weren't in Germany. They were in other countries, just like Trump is doing. He's trying to put Americans in jails or concentration camps in other countries, like El Salvador and other countries he's trying to get them. We have so many.
Augie, do you realize, Augie, interrupt you a bit here. Do you realize that there's this stuff called projection? The people that are always calling you communists or all these different names, usually they're projecting their modus operandi onto you. Have you ever heard about except for Bush? Again, Bush did a rendition in Cuba, but I don't think you've seen too many Democratic presidents or even Republican presidents who actively went out there. And notice I said actively, and with everybody to see, went out there and rendered folks in foreign countries. I think it's kind of it points to projection. Anyway, close her up for me, Augie. I'm running out of time and I have a lot of callers.
Yeah, and the Republicans, they put out laws and saying that's going to solve our problems. When these laws that they put out, they don't enforce them on everybody. They just enforce them on people they don't like.
Exactly.
The law enforcement, the district attorneys, the judges, they pick on who they're going to use them against.
You nailed it, sir. You nailed it, Augie. Augie, I gotta go, and I'm gonna have to limit folks a minute. Guys, I said the show belonged to all of you, which is so damn true. We haven't touched anything that I worked on last night, but a lot of you decided to call. It's your show. Let's go to Harry. Harry, come on in.
Good morning, Brother Roberto. Good morning, Howard. Good morning, Jack. I wanted to comment on a few things. Patrick is right about Governor Abbott, and they were talking about this very thing on Michael's show yesterday, Conversations, with the vouchers. It only helps the wealthy people, and the thing is that everybody else tax the river, and I know everybody on this panel knows this, with these Christian rights schools, the charter schools, the private schools, they can pick and choose who they want. And I believe that caller Richard on Michael's show pointed that out yesterday, that journalist who calls, that yes, a lot of people in the rural area will get hurt by this if these vouchers get passed, which probably looks like it's going to happen. And Barry, who calls and talks about the vouchers, what he thinks to happen so much is so upset because it just destroys the public schools. It just
Harry, tell me what you want. Yeah. Harry, tell me what you want to say specifically, not what somebody else says, because I got a few more calls to take, my dear brother.
I'm just saying that this vouchers thing is a bad. I agree with Richard and some of these other people who call about this voucher thing. It's a bad thing for the Houston area. Michael Miles is bad for HISD. It's just not a good thing.
Thank you very much, Harry. Gotta go. But thank you, brother. Let's go to Betty. Come on in, Betty.
Good morning, Alberto.
Good morning, sis. Talk to me.
Calling all blue. We cannot leave the driving to someone else. We got to get behind the wheel, put our foot on the foot feed, and get in our lane. And this is about Trump, of course. He is erratic, like he's trying to kick the habit of getting old, moving in and out. His band of sinners who don't talk back. Of course, that's what why he has them is they don't talk back. They live under the same rock, doing his deeds, and we all have habits and reasons and in loving ways. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Love you too, sis. All right, I'm going to try to save 5 minutes to get a little bit of what I want to talk about, but let's go to Brian real quick and then Bruce, and I'm going to try to get my few minutes in for the two subjects. Bruce? Brian? Brian?
No, I haven't heard the crackle yet.
Okay, you're on. I can hear you.
Here. Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here's the false narrative that the left wing springs all the time, that Trump is going to try to take away women's rights. Name me one executive order that Donald Trump, the president, has signed that takes away women's rights. Is it because he believes that Roe v. Wade should be turned back to states instead of a federal mandate? Or that he made it mandatory that he's not going to fund any colleges that have transgendered men in women's sports? Name one executive order that he signed that takes away women's rights. It doesn't. It's not happening.
Okay.
And I just found out about Latifah James.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you talking about that? What did she do? Falsified records for a real estate
The two
loan.
homes. It's fraudulent. Go ahead, but make your point.
Okay. He was charged 32 times. Did you read the indictment? No, you didn't. He authorized a bill. He signed off on a bill. He said, yes, pay the bill. It was that 32 times because he had a $360,000 loan. He paid it off in 30 months. Okay? Your narrative is false. Nothing but destruction of Trump. That's all you left-wing are running on.
Do you, so you believe in the honor of Trump, right, sir? Sir, okay. Do you believe that Trump is a good guy, right?
I think he has his faults.
And you think he's an honorable guy, right? And you don't have a problem what he does to women or any of that, right?
What did I just say? Is there an executive order that he's taking away women's rights?
Yes, actually, it's not an executive order, but from Roe v. Wade all the things that he does, yes, it does have a negative effect on women. Even DEI had the false impression of DEI has a negative effect on women, since the biggest recipients of bringing into the fold are women from these programs that bring people, minorities, etc., into programs affect women. So the answer is absolutely yes. But I know you don't see it that way, and I can't help. Brian, I can't help that you don't see it that way, right? So, I mean, we'll be going around in circles for that. But everybody that is listening to the show knows the things that Brother Trump has done, the wrong things that he's done, that's irrefutable. And there are folks who, for Trump, not for Obama, not for anybody else, who are willing to take that flawed character as the leader of the country, the leader of the world. I mean, I question your judgment, but it's a free country and you had the right to do it. So I got to go, Brian. Let me get to Bruce, and then I really want to get... Go ahead. Real quick, please, sir.
Latifah James. Look her up.
I know exactly the issues that they're talking about her, and yet again, it's going to fall on its flat like it normally does. Let's go to Bruce real quick. Bruce, come on in.
Yeah, Alberto, I promise to be real fast. We got Governor Rabbit, we got President Grabbit, and I don't think he should go to Rome. He might get struck by lightning. I'm done. Bye.
I figured you were going to have one of these short ones that you call in for. All right, let's go to Kat, and then I can get to the other subject real quick. Kat, I hope you're going to be quick, sis. Talk to me.
Oh my gosh! Actually, I wrote a parody, so it can't be quick. It's you know the Eve of Destruction is that song?
Yes, read it, baby, read it.
Okay. So I wrote a parody. It's Eve of Forced Reproduction, and I just woke up, so my voice is not great. But the Western world, it is imploding, violence flaring. The right is gloating. You're old enough to know, but thinking's verboten. You don't like corruption, but who'd you vote in? And when you call out his lies, he says he's just joking. And explain to me the drive to pass Project 2025. When we question it, he said it was a lie. But you tell me over and over and over again, my friend, how you don't believe we're on the eve of forced reproduction. Don't you understand what I'm trying to say? Don't you know the fears I'm feeling today? The executive order signed, there's no one who will listen. There'll be no one left to save us when we're all in a foreign prison. Take a look around you, man, it's bound to scare your women. And you tell me over and over and over again, my friend, how you don't believe we're on the eve of forced reproduction. My blood is boiling over like rampant inflation. I'm left sitting here just contemplating. You just twist the truth on Fox and there's no more regulation. Half the senators don't even pass legislation. And marches alone can't bring unification. And the children are on the verge of starvation when human respect is disintegrating. This whole crazy world is just too frustrating. And you tell me over and over and over again, my friend, how you don't believe we're on the eve of forced reproduction. And think of all the hate there is in our country. Look at what's happening to hijack our journey. You may blast off in days and stay days in outer space, but when you splash back down, it's the same old place. The pounding of the drums, the pride and disgrace. You can bury the story and don't leave a trace. Hate your next door neighbor while you're saying grace, and you tell me over and over and over
Very
again.
beautiful.
My friend.
Hey,
And you don't. Yes, that's.
we're running out of time, but my dear sisters, email me your pros at kpft@politicsdoneright.com, and in our member section of our Politics Done Right website, where we have stuff that members contribute, I'll definitely put that in there with a little clip from what you just did. Okay? That was beautiful. All right?
Lovely. Thank you. Have a good. Okay,
You have a wonderful day, and thank you for that. All right, folks. John A., you wrote a lot in Substack. I'll take a look at it later, but I want to get a few things out. First, remember how we started the program today? We started the program with Brother Jack talking about cryptocurrency. He said he had no wisdom on cryptocurrency. Well, he has no wisdom because cryptocurrency has no wisdom. Donald Trump, right now, what he's doing, he's selling the presidency in a legal manner. And what he's doing with the cryptocurrency is not illegal. They found, remember I told you guys that the Constitution is an imperfect document and the laws we write are imperfect, and that's why we write more laws to cover the imperfections of a previous law, etc. Donald Trump is selling the presidency legally by having people purchase his cryptocurrency, which there's nothing illegal about it, and then letting them know that, hey, we are just going to recognize those people who, any politician can say, hey, my big donors, I just want to thank you, and I want to give you a tour of my office. That's legal because they're not asking you for anything in return, quote unquote. Donald Trump has used many forms of grifting in both for the cryptocurrency that really has no value, but it has given him a value of $2 billion out of thin air. I want you guys to understand what's occurring in our presidency. $2 billion is what I think his cryptocurrency is worth now, based on what people are buying it for and the outstanding cryptocurrencies there are, the $ Trump cryptocurrency. Remember, our government is up for sale. And the other subject that I wanted to cover has to do with David Hogg. David Hogg is the vice chair of the Democratic DNC. And the chair is trying to create laws to go against the vice chair. And why? Because the vice chair has correctly stated that there are a whole lot of Democrats that are just sitting in safe districts and doing nothing for the American population, just sitting there and holding a space. The MAGA folks, my MAGA brothers and sisters, everybody wants to know, how did that come about? How did good people turn bad? And forget about all the other things that we say about folks. How did good people turn bad? Good people turn bad when the people who purport to be good serving them fail to serve them. And that is what neoliberal Democrats have done throughout. Yes, Democrats have the better economies. Democrats care more about people based on their policies. I'm just talking based on policies. But when it comes to income inequality and all these issues that could be solved by preventing the corporate sector from taking over, by preventing the wealthy from continuously pilfering us. They have done very little to mitigate that. From the time Reaganomics started, from the time we started with supply side economics, we've had, as presidents in this country, we've had Clinton, we've had Obama, we've had Biden. And not one of these presidents, not one of them have crippled, have cut the vine that is supply side economics, Reaganomics, and trickle down economics. Not one of them have really hit the wealthy by going into every part of this country and building the base to let them know that the wealthy is cleaning their clocks. It's cleaning their clocks. It is important, folks, for us to understand what's going on. And to David Hogg. David Hogg is not going 100% as he really could. This is a guy who got hit by, that saw what bad policy can do to his friends, get them killed by gun. And he's saying, no, we can have a value set that really makes changes for absolutely everybody. And that's who we enjoy having, the young people. When I told Johnny that I wanted to hear the voices of young people, I want young people to get their wings and take off and move things forward. Ray, yes, you're a young person. David Hogg, you're a young person. We need you guys to step up, because those of us who are older sure as hell didn't do the job effectively for you. Let me pass it to the studio.
Okay, well, I did a little research here from Newsweek, a very worthy news organization. An executive order signed by President Donald Trump is raising concerns over the protection of women's financial independence, as well as other potential civil rights violations. The EO, entitled Restoring Equity of Opportunity and Meritocracy, is intended to encourage meritocracy and a colorblind society, not race or sex-based favoritism. It calls for an evaluation of all pending proceedings under the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, first passed in 1974 and amended in 1976 to prevent lenders from discriminating against women based on marital status. Although it can't change the law, if the independent financial or federal agencies abide by the order, they shall stall litigation producing or protecting women from being discriminated against, and a rollback on the guidance of regulations there to protect people's rights. So there you have it, Brian. There's your proof.
It's amazing what research can do for you, right?
Isn't it? You know, if you just stop and read something or research it before you spout your mouth off, well, you might sound a little more intelligent. Anyway, Jack, what you got? Jack says nothing. Take it home, Egberto.
Okay, folks, I got to take a little touch of the subjects today, but you guys dominated. Love you guys. Love all the callers of every stripe. Thank you for calling in. You can get the entire show at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can write me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com, kpft@politicsdoneright.com. Thank you so kindly. It's an honor to have your ears every morning. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
I'm Dr. Anthony Lizowitz, and this is Climate Connections.